So, good evening. This is Mr. Aidan again. So, I'm here for us to do a quick breakdown on DXY, technically and fundamentally. And we are just doing this to see the likely directions for the upcoming FOMC news from Fed. That's the strongest fundamentals of all in the forex market. So, when we look at DXY from the weekly perspective. We are bearish on the weekly perspective. And what makes us bearish? So let's draw our trend line to see the actual direction of this pair. And we are seeing markets breaking out from this whole zone. And now market closed with a strong bearish Mahabuzu from the weekly time frame. That is telling us that there are more sells or there are more push-ups coming. And with with um price breaking this SMA, price rejected this SMA with a strong bearish candle. That is also giving me that confidence that price will be very bearish for a very longer time. So on the weekly level, we have our initial demand zone at this whole level. On the weekly time frame, we have our initial demand zone demand zone on the weekly what perspective. So let's move to the daily perspective. And price has given us something interesting on the daily level. So on the daily time frame, we let's mark our trend line again. My chart will be looking very clumsy, but I'm sorry. Let's manage. So let's go with it. Price has also given us for a rising wedge, and we had a breakout to the downwards direction. So this whole zone also still hold to be my demand zone from the top down analysis from the weekly time frame. So let's pull out our Fibonacci retracement tool. Let's identify our recent swing high. Our recent swing high would be at this whole zone. Our recent swing high would be at this whole zone. And let's bring it here. When we look at the 1 hour time frame, when we look at this from the 1 hour time frame, price is also rejecting at this whole zone. So from the daily time frame or from the 5 hour time frame, from a 5 hour time frame. So let's use the 1D time frame. So on the 1D time frame, we can clearly see the 0.618 and the zero point 0.5 level at this whole zone. So this is what I'm expecting, and this whole zone is also falling on a stronger what resistance what area. So we could get a significant pullback again. Then this will give us the opportunity to be looking for what? To be looking for source. And with the level of the moving average, this tells me price would be what? Price would be very what? Price would be very bearish on DXY. Price will be very bearish on what? On DXY. So any significant pullback I see on DXY will be giving me this opportunity to be looking for longs on US 30, NAS 100, gold and what? And silver, because these pairs normally moves oppositely what correlated to what these pairs. So I'll be looking for gold buys, US 30 buys, and silver buys. So any pullback I see, that will be telling us that gold and these other pairs will be also having a pullback, being bearish. And as soon as these retracements are done, we'll be having that main move. So when we move to the fundamental news coming on 18th of this September, we have federal what rate coming, and we are all anticipating for what? For rate cut. So this is what we are expecting. The usual effect. They normally tell us that actual greater than forecast is what is good for the currency. And now we are expecting a rate cut. So this is what we are likely to, we should expect, or it is likely to happen. So actual greater than forecast will be good for the currency, and we are all expecting a rate cut. So if actual greater than the forecast is good for the currency, then this actual it is likely to be what? Lesser than the forecast. So if though the forecasts are not in yet, but with the news coming from Fed and from their portfolios, from central banks and other things, and also when we apply correlations to the fundamentals that came out from Japan. Japan had a rate hikes. So since Japan had a rate hikes, and we know that forex is full of what correlations, we are to expect the oppositely one coming from Fed. So we will be expecting an actual which will be lesser than the forecast. So that will be bad for the currency, and we are to expect the dollar to what, to dip. We are to expect the dollar to lose its significant what, value. So we are to expect, I'll be expecting market to pull back to this zone, and as soon as I see markets pulling back to this zone, that will be giving me the opportunity to be looking for what, buys on gold, buys on US 30, and buys on AUD USD and GBP USD, and also um the way round for USD JPY and what, USD CHF. Since we have these old lows, markets should come and what, mitigate this whole zone. Since we have these old lows, because that's what market does always, and it's a system that we can never run away from. So with the fundamentals coming from Fed, we are to expect that's when BTC will be starting its or likely bull run. So this is what I'm expecting on DXY technically and what, fundamentally.